Happy Monday, everyone. My name is Regina Lena, and welcome back to another episode of the Pageant Sit Down. I hope you all had a great weekend. I know I did, and I am so excited for today's episode. Why do you ask? Because I have one of my pageant sisters from way back in 2013 here with me today. She is none other than the Vice President of the Miss North Ontario pageant, Natalie Carriere. Hello, Natalie.
Hello, Regine. How are you?
I am so great. How are you doing there in Northern Ontario?
Good. It's starting to get sunnier. It's starting to warm up. We've actually been pretty blessed with a good winter, so I'm having a great time here up north. How's the south?
I mean, we're still in lockdown, so I can't say how things are, but inside my house, it's pretty good. But
You
for
got
those,
that sparkle background, so you can't be doing too bad.
no, sparkles all the way. But Natalie,
Sparkles
for
keep your
those,
world in the right place.
exactly. So, Natalie, for those who don't know you, do you mind introducing yourself to our viewers?
Sure. So my name is Natalie Carriere. I was born and raised in Iroquois Falls, Northern Ontario. A lot of people think that that is Niagara Falls, but no, it is a very, very small town near the city of Timmins, the home of Shania Twain. So I grew up in a really small town, and at the age of 13, I had already grown to 6'1".
Whoa.
So I was super tall, super awkward, but I like always loved the theater. I loved to express myself. I would do plays for my lovely family, bless them. So I never really felt like I belonged, but I wanted to stand out. I wanted to learn how to be more proud of who I was. So pageants started in my community, the Miss Iroquois Falls pageant. And at 13 years old, I begged my mom to let me do it. She was like, Natalie, you are a weirdo. What are you thinking? Like, you're going to do a pageant? And then I ended up placing second runner up. And after that, I was hooked. I started doing pageants in regionals, in nationals, and I did pageants for about 10 years. In my spare time, I am from the north, so I love to be out in the nature. I love to hike. I love to go to the beach. I love just being outside as much as possible when it's nice out, but also even in the winter months, you just gotta bundle up. I competed in Miss North Ontario back in 2011. So when I was 17 years old, I'm aging myself right now. But I ended up winning. And after that, I was so hooked on not just competing in pageants, but participating in the behind the scenes. So I started volunteering with Miss North after that. And after years and years of experience in pageants, I started coaching young women. I started doing workshops at Miss North Ontario. And then Cheryl Kazera, who is the president of Miss North, she's been president for 15 years. It's actually her birthday today. So if you're watching, happy birthday, Cheryl.
Happy birthday.
She offered me the opportunity to be the vice president of Miss North Ontario. And since then, I have been in heaven, just enjoying meeting all the delegates, helping them compete at their best. I work for a radio station here in town, actually two of them. So KISS 99.3, 92.1 Rock here in Timmins. I help out with the all of Ontario North really in their social media. So I'm constantly connecting with people and doing community events. I'm a friendly gal, still super tall, but I definitely learned how to enjoy that and stand tall through pageants. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Natalie, you are tall. I remember when I first met you back at Miss Earth Ontario 2013, you walked in, I was like, wow, she's tall.
Something in the Northern Ontario water. I don't know. I tell the kids that I meet that are like, oh my gosh, you're huge. You know, I'm like, oh, I eat all of my vegetables, especially broccoli, because they're shaped like trees. So obviously you can grow like a tree. It makes total sense, doesn't it?
Totally. I mean, my mom used to get me to eat broccoli by saying they're mini trees, so maybe you're onto something.
Right? Right? I mean, did I eat broccoli as a kid? You'll have to ask my mom about that one. But I definitely recall, so who knows?
I mean, your mom is tall too. You're both tall and beautiful, but enough about that.
She's probably watching and she's like, oh, geez.
No, but she is. Oh my goodness. I remember I met her back in when you were here in Toronto. She's both of you beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you. My mom really appreciates that as well. I love her. She's like one of my best friends. I know that sounds so lame, but
no, I've seen the two of you together. I totally get it. So if you're watching, hi, Mom. So you talked a little bit about Miss North Ontario pageant. What is that pageant? How long has it been around? And if people are interested, where can they learn more?
Okay, so Miss North Ontario is my pride and joy. I love
Hmm.
it. It's held every year in Sudbury. Of course, with COVID, we've been postponing it, of course. So basically, we've sort of revamped it, and it is called the Miss North Ontario Scholarship Pageant. But before,
Oh.
it's called Miss North Ontario Regional Canada. So it is basically the region of Northern Ontario. You represent
Hmm.
your community. You either have to live there, be from there, live or attend school, basically. So let's just say you're coming to school here in Timmins, but you're actually from Toronto. You can represent Timmins because you attend school here, and you represent, like, you can represent a community that you live in, basically.
Hmm.
So that's one thing I really like, because a lot of pageants these days, I find you just see kind of like the name or just the province. It's really nice to have that community element in a pageant. And so
Hmm.
Miss North is all about that. We are for young women 14 to 24. Sometimes like 14 is pretty young, 24 is like you're like in totally different stages, but for some
Hmm.
reason it works. All of our girls get along. Basically, it's a personality based pageant. So we are not looking for that size 2, 6'1", beauty queen type. We're looking for a girl that has personality, that loves to represent her community, whatever size you are, whatever height you are, whatever color of hair, it really doesn't matter. We care about beauty on the inside, and that shines out. It's a girl that lights up a room, that loves to participate in things in her school and her community, and we have lots of fun. It's 3 days in May, so this year it's the 28th to the 30th of May. Fingers crossed.
Hmm.
We have several different components, so there is no swimsuit category. That is a fun fashion instead. And then we have like different things like public speaking, scholastic tests. We have an optional fitness category. So
Wow.
we're basically awarding girls that in all different facets of interest, right? So it's not just about how you walk on stage. We want a well-rounded individual representing us. And
Hmm.
this year, because it is our 15th anniversary, so this has been going on for 15 years under the direct
Amazing.
of Miss Cheryl Kazera, who is again celebrating her birthday today. So she's been doing this for 15 years. Like, she is extremely experienced on how to put on a world class event. And for Northern Ontario, like, I still am in awe of the production that we can put on. So it's a lot of fun. We have an activity day, we have interviews, we have workshops on all different kinds of things. So we teach you how to do well in the pageant before you get there, how to fill out your paperwork properly, how to do a good interview, answer all of your questions. We're there every step of the way. You don't need experience to do it. And then when you are there, you are put into all of these workshops. Some are for pageant skill development, but
Hmm.
some are for self development. We've had time management, self defense, like you name it, we've had it, and it's a
Wow.
great time. We really focus on being more than a pretty face, having that story. So like all the girls come together, they share a story of empowerment, and like we leave missing each other and like wanting to do it all over again, even though we're exhausted. So it's a family, it's a sisterhood, and it is in May. So if you are interested and you are living or attending school in the Northern Ontario area, and that goes like from Barrie area, so like Barrie,
Oh,
Parry
wow.
Sound, Still, yeah, a lot of people don't realize that. And then all the way up, all the way to like James Bay Coast. So like, and then you got like Lake Superior, Thunder Bay, those areas as well. It's like east, west, north,
Wow.
all those areas. You can go to www.missnorthontario.ca, or you can reach out to me personally, and I will set you up.
Amazing. So what I did, Natalie, was I actually put the link and the Instagram for both on the description below. So after this episode, make sure you guys check it out. I think that's amazing that you called it a personality based pageant because that's what it is. And I love that you have all these different workshops. And I know you've also hosted your own workshops in the past. I've seen all of your social media posts and I was like, oh, I wish I could attend.
Yeah. Well, girl, now we live in a virtual world, so you never know. I might do a virtual one next, and you can maybe be a speaker. Who knows?
Ooh, that would
You
be
heard
so
it
much
here
fun.
first.
But I would love to learn from you because you've been competing in
Oh,
pageants for so long. I was in awe of you, not just because of your long legs, but just because of how graceful you are as a queen on stage. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, you and I met back in 2013 here in Toronto for the Miss Earth Ontario pageant, which you won. But I'm
hey.
just so grateful that we were able to continue our journey to Miss Earth Canada together and really get that bond and experience. How has your pageant journey been since then, or even before then? Because it's been a while.
Oh my gosh. Well, before then, I think it was a lot. It was just a brand new world to me, a whole new world. It was just crazy to me because, I was this girl that, loved to volunteer and loved to be involved in her community, loved to go on stage and express herself and all this. But I was kind of alone on that. There wasn't a lot of young women in my town that had similar interests as me. And doing pageants really allowed me to connect with other people that were like me. So I really liked that. It's sort of a home for me. It was where I felt like I belonged. And it really helped me develop a sense of self-esteem where I could walk into a room or like do a presentation in class and be confident about it. And then after that, I think it kind of transitioned once I was, growing into a woman. It really helped me figure out what I wanted to do for a career. So I'm in marketing, public relations, all with dealing with the public and being involved in the community. We had onboarding with Rogers, who owns the radio stations that I work for. And I had to go to Toronto and walk into a room, introduce myself with people that were from all different walks of that company. So some were in radio, some were in television, some were, vice presidents of different parts in the organization. Wow. I had to stand up and be confident enough to respond to questions, to introduce myself. And I think that without pageants, I don't think I would have done as well in that. And then afterwards, after Miss Earth Ontario, when I started to do nationals more, I was able to receive international opportunities and travel the world. Coming from a small town in a sort of a middle-class household, like I would have never been able to travel to Thailand or to the Philippines or even like Orlando, Florida and stuff without pageants. I would have been like, no way, I'm not going that far, or, I can't afford that or whatever. So it really opened doors and created the Natalie I am today. So I had lots of fun.
That's amazing. And it was a great journey to watch. It's been so long, yet so fulfilling to see all of our pageant sisters kind of go off and do their own thing. Like you mentioned, you did go to the Philippines and compete and represent Canada, Miss Asia Pacific. And watching your journey, I felt like I was able to go through it in your shoes and in your eyes through your social media. How was that experience?
Oh my gosh, it was the best 2.5 weeks of my life. It was some of the hardest days, the longest days, because the work ethic in the Philippines, I have to say, is unlike anything I've ever seen. They are up the crack of dawn. Mm-hmm. They are working sometimes even 24 hours a day. So we were up and working hard all the time. We were extremely well fed. We were well taken care of. We were, anything you needed, they were there to help you with. And they were so excited to have a pageant in the Philippines and have all these young women from all over the world compete. So it was really nice. I mean, coming from Canada where, people know about pageants, but it's kind of not really as big here. And then you go to the Philippines where it's police escorts.
It's their Olympics. Yeah.
It was an experience I'll never forget, and I fell in love with the beauty of the Philippines, the people. Oh my gosh, the second I can, I want to go back so bad. I love it there. I left my heart there, so I'm gonna have to go pick it up.
We should go there together. I think it would be a great trip.
I would love that. A lot of us want to go back. Pretty much any pageant girl from Canada that is gone wants to go back, so we will arrange a retreat or something.
I am completely down for that. So, Natalie, there are a few questions that I got from Instagram. And for those who are tuning in, if you have any questions for Natalie, whether it be about her pageant experience or Miss North Ontario, leave a comment down below. Cindy with an S is in the chats. She says, "Hi, ladies."
Hi, Cindy.
So, Natalie, one of the questions that I got was, and this is a question that I've been wanting to ask you as well, is, will you compete again?
I am honestly not too sure. At the time, I'm going to say no. In pageants, you've got to kind of give a straight answer. You don't always want to dance around the question. So that's a tip there for you ladies watching. But I'm going to say no. I have competed for over a decade. I am very invested in my career at this time. I'm 27 years old, so I've been competing for, even longer than a decade. Oh my gosh. But, pageants can get quite costly. And over the last, 10, 12 years, I have spent a lot of money on pageants. And I think right now it's time to spend some money on big girl things. So, like buying a home and that sort of thing. So if someday I win the lottery, heck yes, I'll compete again. But for now, I'm going to take a break and just help out friends and family and that sort of thing and just be a fan.
Nope, that's completely fair, which actually leads us to the next question, which is, after all of these years, what keeps you coming back to pageantry?
I think it's that home element, like I was talking about before. I truly feel like I belong in this world. It helped create who I am.
Hmm.
I love it. It's a way to express myself. It is a way to push myself to get out there. Coming from Northern Ontario, especially now because we're home all the time, but I never had an excuse to dress up, ever, 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 and I always loved it. So it's a great opportunity to show off your personal style, to go places, to do things, again, to meet like-minded people. And I find that the older I got, the harder it was to push myself to get out there. And I think pageants really helped me do that. They helped me stay involved. They helped me be creative in creating ways to fundraise things and to be able to afford to go. So like it's this whole other world that I just cannot say goodbye to.
No, that's fair. I mean, I'm still here too. So I totally get what you mean. I totally get what you mean with that. And then another question, what is your favorite pageant?
A favorite pageant that I've competed in or to watch? There's two different sides.
Both. Both.
Both? Okay, so competed in, I'm gonna say two because one was an international to our Canadian viewers, but Miss Asia Pacific International, hands down, the way they treated us, the way everything was organized, the experience I had there, the beauty that I saw. I'm just so grateful that I was able to have that opportunity, and anybody who can have that chance to apply to represent Canada at that pageant, go for it. Don't worry about how much experience you have, like just go for it. And you never know, it could be you. And don't be afraid of traveling the world because it's so rewarding, and the Philippines is a beautiful country. So I'm going to say that one. The next, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to say Miss North Ontario because that really was the turning point for me. I did win a pageant before that, which was Miss Teen Ontario North. I was 16, but it was all still very introductory to me at that time. Miss North was the first one that I gunned for, that I was obsessed with, that I couldn't believe I had, made it there, that I was representing my town, and then I won. Like I was just over the moon. And I'm still involved with this organization today. So of course I have to say that one's my favorite. It's unlike any other pageant that I've competed in. It's very fair. I mean, I've been able to judge it after competing, and now I am behind the scenes, and I can say 100% hands down, as an organizer, I have no idea who's winning. So the fairness is big. I know a lot of people always there's a controversial thing about
the politics, yeah.
Right. And then just the overall message of that empowering women, being more than just a pretty face, having fun on stage and not having to fit a certain mold. All of that I'm just down for. I love it.
Amazing. So, okay, another question. If you choose to come back to pageants, or, I mean, you're still of age, you're not 28 yet. So if you could, what would be your dream pageant to compete in?
My dream pageant to compete in, if I had tons and tons of money, I would go back to Miss Universe.
Unlimited, yeah.
Okay. If money wasn't an option, I would go back to Miss Universe Canada, just because that's that lifelong dream of every pageant girl, is to go to Miss Universe. And it was so much fun the last time I went. Of course, I paid for it all myself. I had a couple sponsors, but they were more like service sponsors, which I was still extremely grateful for. I wore a dress that was made by a seamstress here in town, bless her. She tried to create a dream gown on a budget. And yeah, so I would definitely compete there again, because I feel like that was the biggest and kind of most authentic Miss Universe experience that you could get. But also, I mean, if I were to go back, I've been watching Galaxy. I love Galaxy pageant. I love what Cindy has to say and what has to do with the pageant world. And I really love the style of Galaxy as well. So maybe that one, who knows?
I mean, once you're 28, girl, you're welcome to our division.
Thank you. Maybe I'll be married someday and I'll come back. Who knows?
Ooh, she's going to skip a whole division and go straight for Mrs. You're going for Denise's spot. I see you.
I love Mrs. category. I just think that that's such a great thing. It used to always be you can't be married, you can't have kids, blah, blah, blah. And Galaxy is just so not for those rules, and I'm down for it. Like, I love that. I think that we are in a new generation, and it's time to stop putting all these restrictions on women. And I'm getting all like political now, but
No,
yeah,
no, it's true.
I love what Galaxy stands for, that you can have children, that you can be married, you can be divorced and still compete. Like, what's wrong with going through those moments in life, right?
Exactly. And I think you'd be a great candidate and a queen for Galaxy if you ever choose to do so. But I just think any pageant stage that you walk on, you I say this about every queen that's been on the show, probably because they are already beauty queens, but your aura when you walk on stage, when you walk into a room, like all eyes are on you.
Oh,
You
thank
know?
you. I think that comes back to, again, just loving it, having a genuine passion for it.
Hmm.
That's key. And I know we said we would talk about, different tips and stuff for pageants, but that's the main one, is just like having the right intentions when you go. Of course, everybody wants to win, but I truly love it. And I think that is what people see and people feel around you, is that passion and happiness.
Yes, and you bring so much joy. Like I was going through all like a bunch of old photos from Miss Earth Ontario and Miss Earth Canada just to like bring myself back to that moment. And I went through the pictures. I don't know if you remember that I took this picture, but one of the girls got locked in the washroom.
I remember.
And there's a picture, I think, I don't know if it was Mike or someone was trying to unlock the door, and you're just there like this. And the poor girl's locked in the washroom.
Yeah, like I remember talking to her, like, "You're good, we're here, lots of time. We all still have our hair to get done. Like, we got this." Like, oh, we had so much fun, eh? Oh.
We did. And it just brings me back to just simpler times when we were actually able to go to Mandarin and eat at a buffet.
I love that, though. Bring the pageant girls to the Mandarin before preliminaries. Like, all you
Right.
can eat. It's like, I mean, I'm all for eating a well-balanced diet and never skipping meals when you're preparing for swimsuit, but like, obviously things have to be in moderation, and you have to eat healthy, and like, oh my gosh, there's so many delicious things you could eat at the Mandarin.
Well, you mentioned it earlier about the pageant tips, and as some of our viewers know, there is a segment on the show which is 5 tips from a beauty queen. So, Natalie, if you could give us your top 5 tips for any pageant hopeful, what would they be?
Okay, so number one, everyone always says be yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times we're not taught to talk about ourselves, to think about ourselves. We're taught to put ourselves last, right? So there's that infamous "tell us about yourself" question that usually you'll get in a pageant, and girls are like a deer in the headlights when that happens, because we're like, oh my gosh, I can't talk about myself. I want to talk about everyone else but me. So instead of being yourself, of course, being yourself is a great tip, but find yourself. Take time when you're preparing for the pageant to do some self-discovery, some self-searching, some soul-searching. Find out who you really are, because if you don't know who you are, then how are the judges supposed to know, right? And being yourself in a pageant is so important, but how are you supposed to be yourself if you don't find yourself? So the first one is to do some soul-searching, find out who you really are, what makes you tick, why you do what you do, and so on. And that is going to help you astronomically. Number two is doing your research. So before you even join the pageant, before you even sign up, it's so important to do your research. Does this pageant stand for the same values that you do? Do the categories make sense for you? Like, are you comfortable walking in a swimsuit? And if not, that's totally fine. There are pageants that don't have that. Or, is it something that is in your price range to do? I mean, there's a lot of times, I don't want to say hidden fees because that sounds dishonest, but it adds up quickly when you're competing in a pageant. You think the entry fee is all you'll have to pay. Well, there are flights to the pageant, there are hotels, there are, outfits, are meals included, is transportation included? There's all these things that you need to look into beforehand, before you sign up, so you really know what you're getting yourself into. I competed in one pageant, and it was sort of a last minute thing. And I didn't realize that afterwards, if I were to win, there'd be all these other commitments to head to internationals. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, again, deer in the headlights, like, wow, I have jumped into something that I didn't realize I, maybe couldn't handle as much as I thought. So, I mean, I learned that from experiences. Do your research on the pageant. Next, kind of similar is looking at your paperwork. So every pageant out there has paperwork, whether that is right when you sign up and you're accepted, or even before that and you applied. Pay attention to pageant correspondence and everything the pageant sends you. It's so important to read it again, take notes, make checklists. It's pageant paperwork, especially a pageant handbook. If you get one of those, it has all of the information you need, like where the pageant is, what are all the categories, what's scored. Sometimes they even lay out the score for you. So a lot of girls, they get so caught up in social media and what this girl's posting and what this girl's posting. Well, that has nothing to do with the pageant at all or the overall score. And then sometimes it does. So it's reading all this and really understanding what you're getting yourself into. So pay attention to your paperwork and every pageant correspondence that you receive from the moment you sign up. All of that is super important, and it's literally like free information. It's just like, take it, soak it in, do it. Compete for the right reasons. That's my fourth one. I had said this a little bit before, but if you are going into a pageant just to win, I mean, of course, we all dream of that moment where they call your name and you get the crown and it's like, oh my gosh, Miss Congeniality moment. But there has to be more than that as a reason. Winning the title is definitely on everyone's to-do list, whether that's like seriously, or just kind of a far off dream. You have to have another reason. Like for me, growing up, it was for confidence. After that, in my teen years, it was to be involved and to really add to my resume and grow as a young adult. And then growing up, it was a little bit more pushing myself to continue to be confident and to go out there. And because I find the older you get, the harder it is as a woman to feel beautiful, and like your body constantly changes, and like you're caught up in your job and you're not so much involved in the community anymore, and you're just kind of in your little circle even before COVID. So it's finding the right reasons to compete and having that in your brain at all times. And the final one, I mean, of course I can go on and on and on, but the final one is to be gracious at all times when you're competing, and especially at the end. There has been, like, I mean, for example, Miss Earth Canada, I competed at Miss Earth Canada for 3 years, like 3 times. And of course I never won, but I wanted to come back. I loved it. Well, if I'm complaining, oh, this girl won and it's fixed and this and that, the pageant sucked and the organizers were mean or whatever. I mean, of course you can have your own opinion after the pageant, but just be gracious and remember that there is a girl that won. Don't take that moment from her, and celebrate whatever accomplishments you had received during the pageant, and just be kind. So like, don't talk behind girls' backs like, oh my gosh, why did she walk like that or whatever. Like just be gracious, be kind when you're competing and after the pageant as well, because you never know if you're going to want to come back. Or sometimes pageants give you international opportunities even if you didn't win. Like I didn't win Miss Earth Canada, yet they sent me to Miss Grand International. If I would have hemmed and hawed and been all upset and not proud or happy for the winner and started dragging the reputation of the pageant through the mud, do you think they would have picked me? Probably not. So it's just a matter of being gracious and just having fun with it and being kind. So those would be my 5.
And those are 5 amazing tips. I know, Natalie, you said you can go on. And if people do want to reach out to you for some more tips, where can they find you?
I would say just reach out to me personally, whether that's on Instagram or on social media like Facebook or even my email. I mean, Instagram's probably the best bet. I find that Facebook, sometimes messages can get lost pretty quickly. I also have like a personal and a public Facebook. So I'm like flipping back and forth, and it's just Instagram. There's one, it's easy, Natalie.Carriere on Instagram.
Perfect.
And don't be shy, reach out. I love it. I love talking pageant, as you can see.
No, that's totally normal. We love it. And again, the link to your Instagram and Facebook are all in the description. So if you guys have any questions for Natalie, she also coaches if you're interested in a session with her. So find that there. So Natalie, going back, you mentioned Miss Earth. I know you did the virtual pageant this year, or I guess last year. How was that now that you've done the stage pageant for Miss Earth and now doing virtual? What was your experience like?
Like stage is just way more fun because you're traveling. Like we did it in Montreal, and we went to this cute little restaurant called the House of Jazz, and like coming back for the second year, it was pretty much run the exact same. and some girls had come back, so it was like a reunion.
Yeah.
I really loved like just the whole organization and the whole cause of Miss Earth. Like, I coming from Northern Ontario and loving to be in the great outdoors, I love the environment and I wanted to be around for a long time. So I really loved the message. Again, going back to competing for the right reasons, right? And then the virtual one was kind of like on a whim. I had seen the post about competing and I was kind of like, oh, I'm done with this. I've done pageants, blah, blah, blah. I'm old.
Oh
And
my gosh, stop.
it was actually Cheryl Kazera, the president of Miss North, that reached out and said, like, did you see the post about Miss Earth Canada doing virtual? Like, it really at first was more of a casting call. So basically, you'd pay a fee to be considered. You would submit a little video about why you want to compete and why you want to go straight to Miss Earth and compete virtually. It was a really limited sort of thing. You had like 2 weeks before Miss Earth to prepare.
Wow.
And yeah, it was really quick. And then as things went on, I said, you know what, why not? I'm going to do this. I'm going to make a little video. I'm sitting at home anyway. May as well do this. So I decided to sign up, and then it turned out to become a competition right before our very eyes. Like, every girl that had signed up ended up being put into a pageant, and I didn't even know. Cindy with an S, if she's still watching, Cindy reached out and was like, oh, you're doing Miss Earth Canada, what the heck? You told me you were retired, you know? And I was like, honestly, I didn't realize that this is going to be a pageant, but game on, let's do it. And it ended up being, honestly, a spark for me. Like, it lit a fire under my butt, I guess you could say. There's another term, but you know, being in the pandemic, it was so boring at this point. Like, it was starting to get colder out in Northern Ontario. Fall hits really fast at the end of August. It starts to get cold. And, you know, we were starting to have restrictions and things were starting to happen again. So, you know, it really pushed me to get up every day and kind of have this enthusiasm again. And I felt so alive, and that's what pageants do for me, right? And it was great. Like, it was this competition that they threw together, but it was so well done. We ended up, you know, having to make several different videos. We had an evening gown video to submit, a swimsuit video, a bio video. We had a questionnaire to fill out, and then there was the social media element. So shout out if anyone's watching that voted for me during Miss Earth Canada, the virtual version. Thank you so much, because I received so many likes and views and shares. Like, I was over the moon coming from such a small town and competing against big names and that sort of thing. Like, I was shocked, and I'm so blessed. So I had like, I think 5,000 views in the first day, and then towards the end it was like 12,000. I don't know. It was ridiculous. So, and then I had one of my best friends, Nancy. She lives down the road from me. We were in each other's circles at the time. Now our circles are a lot smaller, but she would come over and be like, there's another video I have to do. Come over and help me. And then, oh my gosh, I have to film, you know, an evening gown video. Let's go over here and do it. And like, she was down for it. So all of my people kind of came together and we created this like awesome experience, and I ended up getting first runner up. So basically they picked the top 6. The top 6 had interviews on Zoom. We had to compete without makeup on, which was a first for me. And then I really liked that, because you had nothing to hide behind, you know, and it was just a new challenge that I enjoyed. And yeah, I ended up placing first runner up to Gloren, who did a fabulous job at Miss Earth Canada 2020. And it was a great time. It was third time. It was a charm. I mean, I went from fourth runner up to first runner up, and that was really cool. So it was a great time.
That's awesome. Yeah, when same as Cindy's reaction when I saw that you were competing, like, oh my gosh, she's back! Awesome! Yay! Let's do this.
I figured, you know, I'd apply, and if I got it, cool. And if I didn't, no one would know, you know? But
I think what happened, I think the reason why you had such high support, a lot of support and such high views, is because we all had the same reaction. Like, wait, is this Natalie? Is she really back? Oh my goodness, here we go. So I was one of them. I was one of them that was liking and loving and sharing. Like, girl.
Well, thank you. I felt so loved. It was a great time. And again, like, it allowed me to come out of my comfort zone, think on my feet. I ended up getting a venue sponsored, a pageant conference room by the Holiday Inn in Timmins. They gave me their room, because I live in a super tiny apartment. Like, I can't film my evening gown. And at this point, it's freezing outside. Like, it's almost freezing temperatures in like September So like I couldn't compete outside, and yeah, so they gave me a venue. Like everything came together and it was amazing.
That's awesome. Well, one of our guests last week, I think it was Denise, even said, it takes a village to make it happen. And you have Timmins there and all of us here virtually supporting you. So you
Yeah.
that just shows you when you do make your comeback, whenever that is, the whole internet, you're going to break the internet.
Oh gee. Well, we'll see. You're tempting me now. See, like, oh gee. No.
I mean, if it's working, I could keep going. But speaking of breaking the internet, you also went viral during this pandemic. At least I like to think you went viral with a video that you put out. Can you tell us about it?
Okay, so it was the beginning. It was about, I want to say, like April, May into our big lockdown, the first lockdown last year. And I don't know about you, but I was starting to get a little crazy,
Hmm.
I guess you could say, because we were stuck inside and like I never stopped working. I worked from home from the second the pandemic started. So I was on a computer screen, then on video calls with my friends to try and, connect with them still. And I was starting to just go mad. And I am a Disney princess at heart. I love to sing in the Disney princess style. I did theater for a long time growing up. And I kept, I don't know, just like, I want to be where the people are. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious because that's exactly how I feel right now. And so I kind of made this alternated, like lyric kind of, what's the word for it? Like a parody, I guess you
Hmm.
could say, of Part of Your World by Ariel in The Little Mermaid, about wanting to go back in the world, wanting to, instead of just seeing my friends on FaceTime, seeing them in real life, seeing crowded streets and all that. So it was a lot of fun, and I love to express myself in song. Anyone who knows me knows I'm constantly singing and having fun, and I don't like to take myself too seriously. So I sang it for some friends on Snapchat, and they loved
Oh,
it. So you know what? I'm gonna do a video for real and put it out there for the rest of the world to see. And it got a lot of positive reaction. So I appreciated that.
yes, I shared it because I saw it. I was like, this needs to be seen to the world. Um,
Right.
you know,
And I saw like a lot of people on TikTok did similar things like Disney
oh
songs
wow.
about COVID. And you can go on TikTok, there's tons. And I mean they have more views than I do, but they're also like way more extra than I was, like costumes and everything, which you gotta give them applause for that.
Wow. I still think yours was better. I haven't seen them, so I can't judge, but I think yours was pretty good. And what I'll do is I will look for that video on your Facebook and put a link in the description for people to watch. We'll get
Awesome.
it
I'll
more views, don't
you
worry.
yeah,
So,
we will let people see that is Natalie going crazy in the first.
the first wave of the pandemic.
Yes, exactly. The first wave Ariel Little Mermaid.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Sometimes you gotta, I mean, as much as this is a very serious thing, I mean, COVID is super serious. You gotta laugh sometimes. You gotta enjoy, yourself when you're cooped up at home. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's important to laugh.
No, that's true. Cindy said yes, she's still watching, so she definitely heard you talk about her reactions.
Hey, that girl is wonderful. She does such a great job with the Galaxy pageant. It is lovely to watch.
I would love to see her back on stage just as much as I want to
Right?
see you back on stage. Maybe you two should go back together.
Oh, that would be so fun. I've actually competed with her a few times. Like we've been in the world together for a while. Like we did the perfect system. She went to World's Perfect. I think she won Canada's Perfect Cover Girl or something like that. The year before, I was in the audience, and then the next year, I won Canada's Perfect Miss. But she also went to internationals that year. I think maybe as North America or as another.
Mhm.
I don't remember, but I competed with her there. I competed with her at Miss Earth Canada. I competed with her at Miss Universe Canada, and she is
Wow.
just those girls that you want to hang out with at the pageant. Like she's so fun, and she has so many awesome like adventures that she's gone on. So
Mhm.
it's definitely nice to talk to her. And now, like fun fact, I was in Cuba last year when we could travel. I met a young woman there that had just like this spark, and I was like, "You have to compete in a pageant. Please tell me you're Canadian." She was. She was perfect for Galaxy, and she ended up now she's competing. I think she's Miss Teen Galaxy Montreal or Miss Junior Teen Galaxy Montreal. But
Wow.
and I had said to her like, It's actually run by Cindy with an S, her big brother, and her and mom were like, oh my gosh, like Cindy. And I love that reaction because it's just really cool that she's created this world for herself, and it's lovely to watch.
Oh, she says Miss Teen Galaxy Montreal.
Yes, awesome. Yeah, I think that she was in junior, but now maybe she's older because of the postpone, or maybe she was always a teen and I'm just really bad at remembering who knows. But yeah, it just shows that like you never know who you can meet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, pageants are for, you can meet girls from all over the world.
It's true. It's very true. So I just want to talk quickly about something that you did this weekend, which is the coldest night of the year. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So Coldest Night of the Year is actually run, I don't know if it's just provincial or if it's national. I'd have to do some more research on that, but it is held all over the place on one day a year. Of course, this year with everything going on with COVID, it became a virtual event for a lot of people. So it wasn't quite exactly on a day, but basically it is a 2, 5, or 10-kilometer walk in the cold to support the homeless and hurting and hungry people of your community. So as much as it is a national or regional fundraiser, the funds go to a local charity. So a local charity picks it up. In Timmins, it was the Timmins Anti-Hunger Coalition. They create boxes of food to give to people who need it most. And I think that, at the end of the day, eating food and proper nutrition is so important. I can't believe some people go without eating for like days, weeks, who even knows how long, and then they're sleeping on the freezing cold ground, especially here in Northern Ontario. Like temperatures can get to below like minus 40 even. And of course there are shelters and all that everywhere, but not everyone has access or the ability to get there in time and that sort of thing. So these charities are important because they try to fill those gaps, right? So for me, we raised funds for the Timmins the Timmins Anti-Hunger Coalition, and basically you collect pledges and donations. And for me, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go a step further. This is a pandemic, so not everyone can just fork out money. We're all kind of going through a crazy time right now. So I decided to do coaching for a cause. And I did some pageant coaching, and the money that I raised from that, I put towards Coldest Night of the Year, and I raised $210. So it was awesome, and I'm really happy our local charity beat their goal. I believe, oh my gosh, I want to say it was over 40,000 that they raised.
Wow!
But I don't know the full number yet because donations are still accepted right now. So you can still go and donate. Just visit cnoy.org, CNOY.org. Find your community and donate to whoever you'd like.
Wow, that's amazing that you did that because, yeah, I can't imagine how cold it is up in Northern Ontario. It's already cold here in Toronto, so
the thing is like, yes, it is cold here, but it's not as, like, I went to Halifax one time in the winter, and it was a different type of cold. Same thing with Ottawa. I went to Ottawa, I want to say in like November of last year, and I was more cold than here. Like, so it's like, yes, it's cold here, and it's minus 40. It's a really dry cold, but then when you go places where there are like big bodies of water, like moisture in the air, I find like it hits you in a different way, and like the only way I can warm up is with like a bath.
Yeah. And I find that with wearing masks outside now, it does give you an extra layer of warmth.
Yeah. True, exactly. So yeah, like it just, we're all locked in at home. Hopefully you're isolating when you have to and that sort of thing. But it really struck a chord with me when I was complaining that I was stuck inside, and some people don't even have homes. And it was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. So that's why I decided to do it.
Natalie Levy is in the chat. She says it's a humid cold there. It's a dry cold here. So I'm guessing she's saying it's a humid cold Ottawa, Halifax area, dry, cold,
that makes sense.
Northern Ontario.
That makes sense. I like your name, Natalie.
Do you know her?
No, maybe. I mean, I'm so bad with names. Oh my gosh, Natalie. But yeah, I can't. It doesn't ring a bell right off the top, but I'm sure I'm more better with faces than with just
no worries.
So
I feel like she understands Northern Ontario weather, so you probably know her.
Yes, Northern Ontario weather is interesting. For sure.
You know,
You
every
never
time
know
I
what you're gonna get.
no, that's fair. But every time I hear someone from Northern Ontario or anyone brings up Timmins, I always remember you. I don't know why. It's like you're the only person I know from Northern Ontario.
Well,
Well,
hopefully we can have people come to the Miss North Ontario pageant, and you can come and you can wear your crown and all that stuff. So hopefully that would be awesome. And then you can meet tons of Northern Ontario people.
oh, Natalie is Ms. Galaxy Timmins. Awesome, another Ms. There you
Oh,
go.
Levique. Oh my gosh. Yes, she's my friend.
She says my
So,
username is different than my actual name. That makes
oh,
sense.
okay. That's why. I know her very well. Of course, she's Miss Galaxy Timmins. Come on now.
That's amazing. Who knows? Maybe I'll be crowning a Timmins girl.
Maybe we'll see. There are lots. I mean, of course, if Natalie's a friend of mine, so of course, when she wanted to compete, I went and scoped out the competition for her. And there
I'm
are a lot
so
of great.
happy I'm not competing this year. Like, I see all of the new Ms. candidates, and I was like, oh, I'm glad I went last year.
It's awesome. I love it. I can't wait to find out who wins. Like, of course, I would be sad for all of the girls that, because I was at the Galaxy Canada pageant when you won, and I got to watch all these girls get crowned, like you, Chloe, Denise, and I'll be sad when you guys have to crown the new girls, but I'll be happy for them as well, and it'll be interesting to see who takes it.
I know. I'm excited. I'm sure Cindy is really excited to see who's going to be the next queens. Who knows? Maybe it will be a Timmins girl. But now that you mentioned Chloe, yes, she is from Northern Ontario. So
Yes,
I am getting more familiar with Northern
and
Ontario.
Denise isn't from Northern Ontario, but she attended school in Sudbury, and she actually did Miss North Ontario. Don't quote me on this, but I want to say in 2009 or
She
2008.
she mentioned it in her
Yeah,
interview. So
yeah. So she's not born in Northern Ontario, but she's lived the Northern girl life. So she counts. I say in the North we accept everyone, so she counts.
well, that just shows what you were saying earlier. You don't have to live in Northern Ontario. You could go to school and still represent, which is
Yes.
amazing. So again, Natalie, one more time before we wrap things up, give us a little bit more information or more information on the Miss North Ontario pageant.
Yeah, so it is in Sudbury every year, and this year it is May 28th to 30th. Fingers crossed. The safety of our delegates is number one. So of course, if things aren't improving with the pandemic, we will definitely postpone and make it work. But yes, hopefully May 28th to 30th, we are planning for that to happen. Personality-based pageant, no experience necessary, full coaching provided. You can visit missnorthontario.ca. Regine had put the link in the description there. You can reach out to me if you have any questions. I mean, I've had conversations with several girls even before they join to answer all their questions. We are all about providing opportunities for young women in the North. So there's up to $10,000 of scholarships that we're handing out. So that's cash by check, but you know what I mean, like to the young women for their school, for their lives, what have
Mhm.
you. So we really want to be able to provide opportunities for young women that want to be involved in their community, their school, their family, and so on. So personality, we care about the well-being and happiness and mental well-being as well of young women. So we really spread that, a positive, no bullying environment as well. I mean, we don't have to get into it, but pageants can get pretty nasty. We protect our girls, and that does not happen at our pageant. It's basically a self-development, super fun camp for women that want to get glam.
That's the best way to describe it. That's
Yeah, it's
amazing.
kind of fun, and I'm there, so come on down, girls.
There you go. For all of you Northern Ontarioans.
Yes, right.
Is that a word? Make sure you
Queens
sign
of
it
the
up.
North, Queens
There
of
you
the
go.
North.
Literally, Queens of the North. Make
Yes,
sure
exactly.
you sign up. You guys are still taking women?
Yeah, we are definitely still accepting signups. Of course, like with this pageant, it's not really like a sign up and you're in. It's more of like a sign up, read the pamphlet, and like there's work to be done. We want
Hmm.
girls that there's projects involved and prerequisite stuff to be done. So definitely don't wait, because the
Is
more
there a
time you have,
timeline or a
sorry.
deadline? Is there a deadline?
Our deadlines are all over the place now because like we've had so many, so I can't quite tell you. But if it's being held in May, I want to say the bigger deadlines would be in April.
Okay.
So I would say sign up before the end of March.
Perfect. You guys have a month to do it.
Yep.
You're at home anyways.
Yeah.
Go look.
Oh yeah, you can get it done in a month. I'm just saying that like you don't want to wait till the last minute and then feel like you can't compete at your best, right? So it's important to really uh, take the time, do your research, sign up, so that you can put your best high heel forward.
Ooh, I like that. I love that. I'm taking that from you, quoted from
Do it.
Natalie.
Yeah, sure. I love that.
So, Natalie, it's been great talking to you and catching up. But is there anything that you could tell us? Like, what are you working on? I really hope you make a pageant comeback because I know we always say we're in pageant retirement. Like, I said that, and here I am 2 years into Galaxy. So, what can we
Right.
expect from you coming soon?
I wouldn't say any pageants coming up for me competing
Hmm.
in the immediate future. Right now, I'm really focused on my job. I love it. So definitely just a lot of focusing on the job. I have some ideas for sort of like workshops or like pageant coaching or seminars in the works right now, just for fun. I get so bored during the pandemic. So like I really want pageant girls to have things to do if their pageants are being postponed. I see a lot of girls doing virtual pageants like over and over, like 5 virtual pageants in the
Hmm.
span of like 3 months. Like you don't have to do that. Like I want to create an opportunity for like girls to just learn. So look out for that. And then it's just a matter of just living life, enjoying going outside, breathing in the fresh air. Yeah, and then it's North Ontario in May. So that's our next big project. So we're not sure if we're going to have a live stream or not because we don't know if we can have an audience or not. So stay tuned for that sort of stuff as well.
That's awesome. I'm excited to see what happens on your journey. Again, fingers crossed, I am putting it out there. You are going to make a huge comeback in the pageant world. Cindy, get her application ready. I mean, she's still watching. You just can't be
Oh,
Miss
geez.
Timmons this year. You gotta wait. You're not of age yet.
Yeah, for sure. And well, I'm turning 28 in July. So
Okay, yeah, sorry, Miss Timmons is taken already, so we'll.
Miss Timmons is taken by a close friend of mine. So I'm definitely going to support the girls that I see this year competing first. And you never know.
I'm excited to see what happens. And I'm excited to see more videos from you. I love watching your videos, which brings me back before we wrap up. We still have time. Of your talent for Miss Earth Ontario.
Yes.
You sang about, I want to say, a boy, but I
Yes.
don't remember exactly where the boy was from.
The song is called Taylor the Latte Boy. There's
Yes, yes.
footage of me doing it. If you go on YouTube and you write Miss Northern Ontario, Taylor the Latte Boy, you'll find it. And it's the one I competed at Miss Earth Ontario for and won Miss Talent with. But it's a song by Christian Chenoweth, and it's called Taylor the Latte Boy. It's about being in love with the boy who makes her Starbucks every morning.
I thought
So
you wrote
it's a
it.
great. Yeah, a lot of people did because I changed this. Like instead of saying and my name was Kristen, I changed it to Natalie just to make it more like personal. And yeah, a lot of people thought I wrote it, but heck no. Kristen Chenoweth, she plays so many amazing roles in theater and in movies, and she is exceptional. So it is her song.
Awesome. Would you ever do Broadway?
Oh my gosh. Well, back in the day, I used to think that that was something I was going to do. I still participate in community theater,
Hmm.
but now I would have to polish my dance skills off quite a bit. But no, I just kind of do it for fun. Yeah, just fun stuff.
I mean, you said Natalie, you're Natalie. You said Erin, who was here last week, is your pageant bestie, pageant sister, and she teaches dance. So I mean,
Well, we had made plans to see each other, and then COVID kind of happened. I'd seen her in November, right before all the COVID stuff happened, and then we were gonna have another time where we would like she was competing for Miss World Canada. We were gonna train and like have photo shoots and do all this stuff, but then the pandemic happened. So hopefully, Erin, the second I'm free, I'm coming down for a dance lesson.
ooh, she does virtual.
Oh, well, there you go. I did do some of her virtual yoga and stuff like that back in
Ooh,
when it first started. I don't remember when she started those, but yeah, maybe you never know. I do sometimes like do like a dance YouTube workout when I want to bust a move, or sometimes just like rock out by myself in my kitchen. So you never know. Maybe I'm a better dancer than I thought.
I mean, if you can do choreo for a pageant, that's
Right?
still that's you're getting there. You're getting there. I would
We'll
love
see.
to
You
see
never
you.
know.
I would love to see you on Broadway. You have the voice, the personality. We'll get you the rhythm for it. Don't worry, you're good. Regardless, it's still a
Maybe.
stage.
Oh my gosh. I want to just keep you. Like, you're so kind. Oh my gosh.
I tried. Okay.
Oh, thank
All right.
you.
Well, Natalie, we've come to the end of our show. Thank you so much for being a guest. One more time, where can people find you on social media just to reach out for tips or coaching or just to talk?
Yeah, definitely Instagram, Natalie.Carriere. I'm sure my name's somewhere on here, but Carriere. Lots of R's and I's and E's. It's pretty crazy, but Natalie.Carriere, Instagram. I just turned it to public so that more people can reach out. So yeah, just send me a message. I usually see it within a day or so. Don't be shy. Like, I love pageant talk and I love making people feel good about themselves. So yeah, don't be shy, reach out, and we'll have some chats.
Awesome. So you heard it there. Reach out to her on Instagram or Facebook. Again, the link is in the description. And for all of those who are watching, if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to this channel. We do the Pageant Sit Down twice a week on Mondays and Wednesday evenings at 7:30 p.m. Natalie, again, thank you so much for being here. It's so great to catch up, sit down and talk with you, talk all things pageants, your experience, maybe Broadway. I'm looking forward again to seeing your comeback on the pageant stage, and I hope you're staying safe up there in Timmins.
Yes, thanks so much for having me, Regine. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. I can't wait. Hopefully, I'll see you soon. It was nice to see you back at Galaxy Canada as a judge. But again, thank you to everyone who tuned in. We will see you on Wednesday evening. We have an amazing guest. I can't wait for you all to meet her. So stay tuned for the post. Again, thank you, Natalie, for being here. And thank you to everyone who tuned in. And we will see you guys next time. Bye.